In this video, I'm going to show you how to make realistic 3D objects inside of Adobe Illustrator. So the process is very fast. It's only going to take a couple minutes, and all I did was draw these 4 shapes that you see on the screen. So I'm going to delete these and we're going to start over just to show you from start to finish how I did this. So I used the ellipse tool, which you can find right here, and if you hold shift when you click and drag, you'll make a perfect circle. The next thing I did was draw a rectangle with the rectangle tool. And after drawing the rectangle, I went over here to these inner buttons on the corner and drug the corners in so that they are rounded. And then the next shape I made was a star. So I'll just click right here to make a star. And then I added a triangle. So a triangle is with the polygon tool. And if you click once with the polygon tool, you can change the number of sides. I've got it set to 3, which is fine. I'll just make this a little bit bigger. And now we've got our 4 shapes. So the next thing you're going to do is select all 4 shapes. You can take the black arrow up here and draw a box around all 4, or you can simply click on one shape, hold the shift key, and click on the other 3 shapes. Once all 4 shapes are selected, you're going to go up to Window and 3D and Materials. So now you'll select the 3D type. Extrude makes it stick out but keeps the same shape. Revolve just kind of makes some crazy round thing out of it. Inflate I really like, it just kind of puffs it up. And you can inflate both sides by clicking this box or just one. And this little blue wheel in the middle, if you click in the middle of it, you can get a better look at what you've got here. So there's our 4 shapes. And if we scroll down, we can actually just set the view here. We're under rotation. So I'm going to go to isometric top. So now we can see our 4 shapes in 3 dimensions. And our next 2 tabs are materials and lighting. Now these tabs will require that we click this render button here to see our changes. So I'm going to go to materials, and there's all sorts of materials in here. I'm going to leave it on just the standard material right now, but you should probably get in here and explore if you're interested in any of these materials. Down towards the bottom, you'll find roughness. If you bring this all the way down, it will make it really smooth and really shiny. Makes it look pretty realistic when we add the lighting to it. So if we want to render what we have so far, we can just click on this render button, and now they look pretty realistic, but they have no shadows and lighting yet. So once we go to lighting, any changes you make, since the render button has been selected, it will start to render. So you might want to click it again just to turn it off while you make changes. That way you can get a lot done before you turn it on again. So I'm going to crank the intensity up, and if we look over at the model, you can see what it's doing. So I want it pretty intense, that way we can see the shadows really well. And then we're also going to crank the softness way up. So that makes it look pretty realistic. And then the ambient light is sort of the light that's not directly on it. Think of it as sort of how bright the room these objects are in is. So if I crank that way up, that's what it looks like. I'm going to actually leave it pretty low. And then one of the very most important things here is the shadows. I think this makes the image look very realistic. So a couple of things you can do here is change the shadow bounds. By default, when I tried this the first time, these were set pretty low, and then the shadows were cut off, as you can see right here. So you'll want to increase that if that's the case, shadow bounds. And then distance from object will make the shadow kind of go further away from the object. But if you go too far, doesn't look realistic, so I'm going to leave that at 0. And now let's click render one more time and see what we've got. So it's pretty crazy that that's all we had to do to make realistic 3D objects in Adobe Illustrator. So if you want to change something after the fact, just make sure all of your objects are selected. Go back to Window and back to 3D and Materials, and you can adjust anything after the fact. So also you can click on individual ones and change things like color and stuff like that. So I'm going to change the fill on just this one, and there you have it. So that is how you create realistic 3D objects in Adobe Illustrator. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.